Hi, guys, and welcome back to Bar Exam. I'm your host, Allie Rayner, and I'm here with the Bar Exam crew. What's up, Eric G? How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on?
And then we also have Mr. Shane G here with us as well. What's up, Shane?
What's the deal? What's the deal? How we doing?
Real good. All right, so today we have some special guests to introduce to you guys, but we're going to reveal them a little bit later in the show. But we will let you guys in on a little hint because these people are from New York City. So we had to have this discussion. Coming before the bar, we are discussing which borough has produced the best rappers. This one's going to be pretty interesting because there are a ton of New York rappers. I don't even know where we want to begin. But each one of us has picked a borough that we want to focus in on and who we believe have produced the best of the best. So let's get into the conversation, fellas. Okay, so we all have some good picks.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna rank it at the end, but this should be interesting.
Man. This is gonna be a tough one. This is gonna be a tough one because we picked any of the three that I would have picked. So it's
Right.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
yeah, this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I guess I can start off with my pick.
All right. Word.
Okay. All right, so my pick is Brooklyn. I had to do Brooklyn because there are just so many iconic rappers from Brooklyn, and I feel like they really put hip hop, especially New York, on the map. And their legacies are like super far reaching. So, first and foremost, there's Biggie.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, he is an icon. His legacy is still respected today, and he is, for a lot of people, the greatest rapper of all time. He sold 28 million records. He released iconic songs like Juicy, Big Papa, Hypnotize, and he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020. So he, I feel like, is one of those obvious answers. Then there's Jay-Z, the mogul, the rapper, the founder. He has had like a 3 decade long career and people continue. He's also up there. I feel like he's on the top 3 list for a lot of people when it comes to the greatest rappers of all time as well. And he's really known for like his wordplay, storytelling, and nowadays he's known more for his entrepreneurship and basically always having some type of title of CEO or president. So before it was Rockefeller, then it was Def Jam, now it's Rock Nation. And the entire time he has been creating his music. So, I mean, he's had like 24 Grammys. He's got an NAACP President's Award. And then he was even inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then he's created superstars like Rihanna, Neo. So I feel like he definitely solidifies Brooklyn for sure. And then he also, I mean, he also created like Kanye West, Memphis Bleak, Benny Siegel. Like he's dibble dabbled in a lot of hip hop in a lot of people's careers for many, many years, not just his own. So I feel like that also solidifies him on the list. Next up is Nas. I mean, he is another lyrical king. He's up there on the list for some of the best rapper or one of the best rappers because he's
Hold on.
What?
Nas is from Queens. Nas is not.
Is he really?
Oh yeah.
I thought he was from Brooklyn.
No.
Ah, damn. So I accidentally added one in there.
Yep.
My bad.
I'm taking that one.
Dang. I was excited about that one because he's got like, I mean, he got, best rap album of the year and stuff. So I was like, okay, that's a solid choice. Okay, fine. All right. So then my next one is Busta Rhymes then. Busta Rhymes definitely is an icon. He is known for like his rapid fire flow. And he definitely put like music videos, like being super elaborate, over the top and unique. Like he put music videos for hip hop like on the map. And I feel like he made other people completely like just change their style altogether. They just wanted to be way closer to like what he was doing, like with the visuals. And then we also got to mention Pop Smoke. Even though his run was really short, I feel like he's important to mention because he put like drill on the map. And then he, even though it was like a posthumous album, that album reached #1 on Billboard 200. So like it's iconic. It also got the top Billboard 200 album award in 2021. And then there's other. I mean, there's so many people. There's also Lil Kim. She like made a whole lane for women. She was also Biggie's protege. So I just feel like there's so many people who are like a part of the legacy of, especially like the '90s hip hop. And then pop is more of like the last like couple years in the early 2019, 2010 or 2020s. But I just feel like there's just so many, like there's just a lot of history there. There's a lot of people who have just made a lane for themselves from Brooklyn. So I will say the only thing about Brooklyn is I feel like there needs to be a little bit more newer acts. I didn't see a ton of new acts. So that's the one thing I will say.
Yeah, Foxy Brown is from Brooklyn too. So shout out to she's from Brooklyn.
Yeah, a bunch of Wu-Tang members.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think ODB is from Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him. I want to say RZA, Master Killer. I think there's one other person that
There's a bunch of them were from Staten Island too, but I do know that a few of them was from Brooklyn for sure. So, but yeah, Brooklyn is. There's been so much classic material that's come out of Brooklyn, like just from Jay-Z and Biggie alone. But then Busta Rhymes, I was like, damn, Busta is from Brooklyn too. That's a crazy trio right there. Like Busta, he almost single-handedly changed the way people made music videos in rap. So I'm really glad that you brought that point up, because like rap videos were very specifically done a certain way. Like West Coast videos, they were done a certain way, and East Coast videos, they were done a certain way. It was just a bunch of niggas in the projects or a bunch of niggas in the set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in their cars and shit like that. So that's all you got either way. So then when Busta came, and then later Missy, you know what I mean? Those were the two that kind of let you know, like, no, you can be creative in your music videos and do other shit. Like,
you can be weird. They made it so cool to just be out of the box and like wear these crazy suits and be these characters. Whereas, before it seemed like people were like, I gotta portray as like who I am in real life too in my music video. But yeah, they were really creative.
Eric, who's my man who made Panda? Designer. He's from Brooklyn.
Yes. I didn't know if I wanted to put him on there or not, because I was like, I just wish that he had more songs, to add to the conversation. So that's why I was like a little bit iffy on him.
But I just wanted to mention it just because I just remember this clip of Taxstone talking about him. He was like, because Taxstone is from Brooklyn too. And so he was like, he's going back and forth with somebody on Twitter who was like, hey, he's not from Atlanta. He was like, nah, nigga, Brooklyn, nigga. Like, so Designer reminds me of that for some reason, because he was just hyped to have a new person from Brooklyn that was popping at the time.
That was popping, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was running really strong for him. Yeah.
I would have assumed he was from Atlanta too, though, to be honest.
Well, he sounded exactly like Future. So
right? Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did have a moment.
Similar.
Eric, is there any other new people from Brooklyn that, besides like Pop Smoke, obviously? Like,
yeah, there's not, like, as far as the new artists, like a lot of them are, well, I'll bring some up on my list, but a lot of them are kind of spread out. Like, it feels like a lot of the new guys are not really solely in Brooklyn. It feels like they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Where is my man's that was cool with Pop Smoke?
Who though?
Starts with like an F.
Oh, 5 Year Foreign?
Yeah, 5 Year Foreign. Where's he from?
Yeah, is he from Brooklyn?
I don't know. That's why I was like, that might be the one that I'm thinking of. Like one of the newer guys that's from Brooklyn. But
that's what I was thinking of too. I couldn't. Yeah, I'm glad you.
He might be from Jersey, and I don't know why I'm thinking that, but there's a possibility he could be from Jersey, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I feel like it's
from Jersey. He's from New York.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they're saying he was born and raised in East Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, that definitely works. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll take him too.
Yeah, I was gonna say because he's still outside, right? Like people still
Yeah.
fucking with.
That's why I mentioned him.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned him.
Okay,
I just couldn't think of his name right off top.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's solid. That's solid.
Right. All right. Who's up next, fellas?
Eric, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go next. So so the borough that I ended up picking was Harlem, and I picked Harlem for a myriad of reasons. But I think the one main reason why I picked Harlem is because Harlem to me is the most like is the area you think of where it's like all the like flyest niggas in New York. Like I feel like Brooklyn has more of like the hustler side mentality, whereas Harlem has like the get money fashion type niggas. So, and it really ranges from all different spectrums of artists. So, I mean, when I first think of Harlem, the first group that I think of is the Diplomats, just off top. Like it's Cam, it's Jim Jones, it's Jewels. Like their whole style when they came out, it was like, first of all, it was like it kind of was one of those things where it was like a slow burn, but then when people started catching on and people really started like seeing like the different ways that they would incorporate like fashion and shit like into their music, and then also incorporate it into like how they would like portray their lifestyles and all that different type of shit. It was some shit where people really wanted to start like emulating that. Like Cameron was out here setting trends throughout a lot of his music. Same with Jim Jones, same with Jewels. And they were doing this all while like making all these great classic albums like the Diplomatic Communities. And then you got Cameron with his Purple Haze album. You got like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they kind of revolutionized like a movement, it felt like, in Harlem, because it always was there, like the fly shit that niggas like to do in Harlem. But I feel like they took it to like a whole new level to where a new group was able to come up and kind of replicate that, but in a new style. And when I talk about that new group, I'm talking about ASAP Rocky and ASAP Mob. Because when they came out, it was almost, people almost looked at them crazy because they didn't even sound like they were from Harlem, especially Rocky. Because on a lot of those songs, he was making songs that like had a lot of different types of influences from it, especially like a lot of that like Texas sound. Like he was super into that. But then you had niggas like Ferg that were in the group who embodied like kind of like that Busta and Missy type of style, but just in a different area. So like he was kind of the one that kind of revolutionized that, but for his era on when he was coming up, because you know all these guys were coming when they came up, they were coming up during that online mixtape circuit. So it was like a new the people that were like really getting popping in Harlem. And then you go all the way back to people like Mace. Like people like Mace to me is like another perfect embodiment of somebody who showcased that flashy fly nigga shit in everything that he was doing, whether it came to the music videos, whether it came to the actual albums with the different types of covers. Like the shit that he was doing back then, it was the shit that pretty much gave inspiration to Cam and them to kind of take that flow and run with it. That's one of the things that like I kind of love about Harlem, is that it feels like they pass it down to the other people that are coming up, and they just kind of take the style into how they want to flip it in whatever that time is. Because then you got people like Dave East, and he's kind of more of a like a traditional spitter in my mind, but at the same time, he still is able to tap in to the shit that culturally makes Harlem what it is. which is why I think he's been able to maintain throughout his early career, because he's still, to me, he's still super young. Like, he has a good amount of projects out, but to me, he's still super young in the game. Like, he has a lot of time to go. So I just think that I love how it feels like Harlem started out in like a place where it was like a lot of competition at the time. So they kind of had to find their footing and figure out like how they were going to stand out. And I think all of those different artists that I just named all kind of had something similar that they were touching on, but they just, in the different ways that they were coming up, they just were able to touch on that in different ways throughout the times that they came up in their careers. So that's why I chose Harlem. I feel like Harlem is a sleeper on the list because there's a lot of great artists from Harlem that I haven't even mentioned yet. But yeah, that's why I chose Harlem.
One of the greatest punchliners in rap history is from Harlem, and that man's name is Big L. Rest in peace. Big L. Like, he has the song Ebonics, which is a genius song. The whole song is just breaking down different slang terms that they used in New York at the time. Genius song. And he's one of the like OG like punchliners, you know what I mean? Like, where every line was a bar and made you go like, "Ooh, shit, hold up, let me rewind that." Like, damn, you heard him? You heard what that nigga just said? Like, that type shit. Like, he was one of the first ones to, you know, kind of purposely rap like that. Like, before, it was almost like you would come up with a punchline. I'm not gonna say it was by mistake, but it was just like it would just happen. You know what I'm saying? When you were writing your rap, because it was just part of your style. But like, he was one who was like, no, that is my style, is punchline. So, you know, without him, I don't think you have a Cassidy. I don't think you have like how Lil Wayne was rapping, you know what I'm saying? Like, for years, where he was just punchline, punchline, punchline. Like, you don't have people like that without Big L kind of being the blueprint. So shout out Big L.
Yeah, Big L's a big one. You know, another person I didn't know that was from Harlem? Q-Tip.
No way.
I did not know that he was originally born in Harlem.
Oh, born in Harlem. Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah, I don't know if he was raised. I don't know if he was raised in Harlem, but
okay.
I just didn't. Yeah. I just had no idea.
I'll give you that on a technicality, I guess. But yeah, yeah.
It counts. It counts. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's also, I feel like Harlem's also definitely known for like the DJs back in the day too, you know, at the beginning of hip hop. So I think that's another huge contribution from them, you know. And I also like that Eric mentioned like the fashion part, because I didn't even think about it that way. Like, they definitely are the more like fashion centric borough when it comes to like the rappers anyway. So I wonder if they're like, is like a fashion district by there or something? Is that why? Or
well, yeah,
there is.
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, definitely. So I was gonna say, I found it interesting because you said, Eric, that you felt like when you think of Brooklyn, you think more of like hustlers, and then when you think Harlem, you think of like the style and the flash. I agree with you with Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I think of style and flashiness and stuff like that too. With Brooklyn, I always almost associated them more with like the grimy dudes. Like, those were like the dudes who, like, those are the robbers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, the drug dealers is in Harlem, and the niggas that's robbing them is from Brooklyn. That's what's just in my mind. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can kind of see that though.
I feel like that too, but then I also feel like we haven't touched on your borough yet either, Shane. But I also feel like it's kind of similar with Queens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm going with Queens. Yeah, my borough is Queens for sure. And so let me touch on my people. Off the top, we have LL Cool J, we have Cool G Rap, we have 50 Cent, we have Q-Tip on my list. We have Mobb Deep, we have Nas, we have CNN, Capone and Noriega. Of course, they're from Queens as well. We have Ja Rule, he's from Queens. We have, you know, the rest of G Unit, well, the original members of G Unit. So Lloyd Banks, Tony Ayo, Fredro Starr is from Queens. You know what I mean? Who else? Let's see here. Flavor Flav is from Queens.
That's a funny one.
Mr. Cheeks from the Lost Boys is from Queens. Action Bronson is from Queens. So yeah, Queens super strong. Pharoah Monch is from Queens. Shout out to Pharoah Monch. Roxanne Shante, one of the first female rappers from Queens. So yeah, Queens is ridiculous. So many classics that come out of Queens. Get Rich or Die Trying, Illmatic, Stillmatic, The War Report. All of these albums come out of Queens. And then we have to think about what, you know, comes out of the Queens family tree, right? You get Drink Champs out of Noriega. You know what I'm saying? One of the, you know, great podcasts that's out there. You know, shout out to them. You know, and his whole Spanish run that he did, you know, that's how he kind of stayed popping in music. Like he was doing the whole reggaeton thing. So that was really cool to see. But yeah, Queens is just, you know, like I said, Get Rich or Die Trying, The Massacre, all the G Unit projects, every one of their first albums is pretty much considered classic, you know, for the most part in hip hop circles. You get Game, and then everybody that Game brought us from the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? Like he helped Nipsey, helped Kendrick. I'm not saying they're not who they are without him. I'm just saying he helped, you know what I mean? And any help is always a good thing. So a lot came from that Queens, you know, family. AZ, you know, AZ dropped some classic albums, you know what I mean? And that was the Firm album, you know what I mean? Even though, you know, people didn't necessarily like the combination of them with Dr. Dre beats, like still there were some joints on there, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they were spitting. So, you know, Queens is amazing, man. Like Action Bronson nowadays, like I said, he's holding it down for Queens. As far as for the spitters. And then as far as their reputation, like, you know, in my mind, they were kind of the mix. They were the drug dealers who had the guns on them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like a mix of Harlem and Brooklyn, like that right down the middle. It's, you know, so but yeah. Mobb Deep, love Mobb Deep. I feel like their first album, it's as close to a perfect album. You know, I've said that about one other album, I think. I think the Larry June and Alchemist album, I think is like a perfect album. And not because, you know, he was rapping the most impressive or anything. It's just that I feel like what he did was perfect on every single beat, and every single beat was perfect for his style. I feel the same way about that first Mobb Deep album. Those beats that Havoc made, you know, Shook Ones, and, you know, and then the features that were on there, Nas and Raekwon and Ghostface and Big Noid. Like, it was just an incredible album. Like, so much good stuff was coming out in that, like, 1994 to 1996 era of Queens. Like, it was incredible. So, yeah, shout out to Queens.
All right, good pick. Did you mention Nicki Minaj in there too?
Nicki Minaj, I definitely mentioned Nicki. Of course, the Queen is from Queens. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely, definitely. Definitely there was no shade intended at all in me not mentioning her. That really just slipped my mind, and that's unfortunate. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just in case he ever sees this, there was no shade intended at all. No,
so I think she'll forgive you. You had a long list. You got a lot of people over there.
There was a lot of people. That's the thing. You like when your borough is that popping, you know, sometimes your name might get left off. It's just because, you know, there's a lot of y'all holding it down.
It's a fact.
Yeah. All right. That was definitely a good pick. I'm trying to think if there's any other people, but I think that's just about everybody from Queens that I could think of even too. Like, you mentioned a lot of people that I didn't even realize, like, you know, they've been around for a minute now. I didn't realize they were so.
That's the area. It seems like they don't really have too many new people coming out of. Like, it does seem like Harlem is still producing a lot of new people and stuff like that. But because, like, is A Boogie with a Hoodie? He's from Harlem, right?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, see, they seem to be producing the most new artists.
Where's Ice Spice from? I want to say she's from Queens.
I think
too.
she's from the Bronx.
Oh, okay.
I think.
With her and Cardi then.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cardi's from the Bronx.
A Boogie's from Highbridge.
Which is where? I don't know where that is.
I have no idea.
Let's see.
Of the Bronx.
The Bronx. Oh, he's from the Bronx. Okay.
Okay.
It does feel like
the
Harlem and the Bronx have a lot of the new rappers.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
I guess Marcus would have done Bronx, huh?
He would have had to, I guess, right?
Okay, so yeah, Remy Ma's from there. Fat Joe, Grandmaster Flash. Yeah, we already. Oh, Swiss Beats.
Big Pun.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who else.
Low key, you can throw Jim Jones in there if we're talking about where niggas is born and all that.
Okay, that fits.
Yeah, if we're giving Bart, then Jim Jones is from the Bronx too.
Okay. Oh wow. So what? I thought we put Jim in someone else's.
Yeah, in Harlem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but Q-Tip was
everybody
born in Harlem, so and I was like, well, he was from Queens, from what I know. So like,
I swear, like over half my list is just ASAP Mob people and all Diplomats people, because both those groups are just massive.
Yeah.
So, there's like 8 minimum, I think, in each one, and then loose affiliates and all that type of shit. Azalea Banks is from Harlem too.
You said who?
Azalea Banks.
Man.
Yep.
I used to love me some Azalea, and then she just really went off.
Dame Dash. Dame Dash is from Harlem.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, shout out to New York, man. Like, I'm glad that they figured out a way to get back in. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it seemed like they would only have like one artist at a time every now. You know what I mean? Like for the longest, like Nicki was like the only one. It seemed like for so long. Like
the one that was like making waves for
wasn't dropping consistently, so we had to rely on Nicki for New York rap. French wasn't dropping consistent.
Right.
Y'all know how I feel about French, but look at the Patreon from last week if you want to know how I really feel about French. But so yeah, shout out to New York.
Yeah. Would you guys say that like New York, out of all locations, has produced the most rappers for hip hop? It feels like that.
Either them or maybe at this point Atlanta.
I would probably say Atlanta. One now
places.
Yeah.
Especially for the current scene, definitely Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on that one. But yeah, definitely I feel like the birthplace of hip hop was absolutely New York. I think they said, which borough was it actually? I want to say
the Bronx.
I was gonna look that up.
I think it was in the Bronx.
I was gonna say I want to say Bronx, even though
according to that Peter Guns and Lord Tariq song, it was the Bronx because he says, "But if it wasn't for the Bronx, this rap shit probably wouldn't even be going on. So tell me where you from? Uptown, baby. Uptown, baby."
Well, there you have it, and it's a fact.
I think it's the Bronx. Yeah, according to Lord Tariq, it's the Bronx. So
that's right.
Shout out to Smoke Dizza too. I forgot to mention him. He's also from Harlem.
Oh yeah. Gotta show love to Smoke Dizza.
Yeah, he's great.
Where's what's my man's name? Smoke Perp. What's his name? He rapped over the Missy beat.
That's Ski Mask. He's from Florida.
Slump God. Yeah, I don't know.
He's from Florida. Yeah, he's from Florida.
Oh, he's from Florida. Oh,
yeah.
He did that in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. All right. Well, you know what? We should probably bring on some New York people to, have this discussion, right?
For
Yes.
sure, for sure.
Yes, exactly. So coming up next, guys, we have some very special guests for you guys. We'll be introducing them very soon. So stay tuned.
I'm good.
All right, for sure. All right, well, we back, and like we said, we got a special guest on the show today. Now, unfortunately, Allie had to cut out. You know what I'm saying? She had a different commitment that she had to get to, but y'all heard her in the first half. She was holding it down for Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So we got the Twin Kings for Brooklyn. Let's go.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Do what it do. Hear ye, it's Twin Kings in the building. Yes, sir. We here, man. We outside, baby. What up? Well, really, we inside right now, but yeah, you already know. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Outside, inside, whatever you want to talk about it.
That's what's up. How we feeling today, man? How we doing?
Man, I'm loving life, man. Loving life, man.
It's a pleasure to have y'all on. It's a pleasure to have y'all on.
Oh yeah, man. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Appreciate you having us.
Absolutely. Now, so what we were discussing which borough produced the best MCs. Now, I had Queens, Eric had Harlem, but Allie had Brooklyn. So who y'all got? Now,
that's a biased question. Brooklyn. I stand on that. It's Brooklyn, man. Yeah, no question, yo. Brooklyn is it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, tell us why it's Brooklyn. I'm
gonna tell you why it's Brooklyn. Because I mean, if you ask anybody in the world, or you ask anybody that same question, what they always gonna say? What's your top five? Who in your top five? I guarantee your top five got Biggie in it. If you got Biggie in it, where Biggie from?
Yeah, BK all day. You know
Brooklyn, what I'm saying? If they gonna say Hove, you can say Hove too. Where Hove from?
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
That's too solid.
That's what I'm saying. You want more? That's two solid goats.
I mean, you can get some more. You know what I'm saying?
Do I gotta mention Busta Rhymes? Hold on. Do I gotta mention Busta Rhymes? Do I have to?
Busta.
Come on. I can keep going. I promise you. But I'm just saying, three bona fide goats with a catalog that's untouchable. Yeah. Come on. Back.
Y'all make a solid case. You know what I'm saying? Y'all make a solid case. So
yeah, when those three names were brought up, it was like, all right, it's hard to argue against that. Like for real. Like it was like, all right, like what we gonna do against that?
That's what I'm saying. Like if you say Queens or something, you could be like, oh yeah, Queens got Nas. You know what I'm saying? You got what is it? Tribe Called Quest.
Got
you know
50.
You got LL. But it's like we're talking about unmatched catalogs here. And 50.
Right.
52, like it's like I can understand Queens getting that too, because I'm saying like I can understand that. Lloyd Banks from Queens, like I get that. Like it's just
yeah. Shout out to 50. That's my birthday.
I can get Queens and Brooklyn going head to head for sure. But yeah, facts.
You know, so
a lot of Wu-Tang members are from Brooklyn too.
So I picked Harlem really because of like, not because I think they're the best borough as far as like rappers, as far as where they come from. But I picked Harlem because I feel like all the drug dealer, flashy, fly niggas, like that's where like all the niggas got their style from.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when you bring up like niggas like Dipset and shit like that, you bring up like the ASAP Mob niggas, like you bring up niggas like that. It's like it's hard to argue against that.
That is true. Yeah, I can't debate that. They definitely a lot of styles and a lot of hip hop styles and a lot of black culture styles definitely came from Harlem. No question. Yeah. No question.
No doubt. So y'all are from Baltimore originally, and then you moved to Brooklyn. So how long was y'all in Baltimore before y'all made it up to New York?
About 2 years.
About 2 years, yeah.
Okay. So y'all from New York. Y'all New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like our time in the DMV, we was bouncing all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah. We was in PG, Largo, Cheverly, Montgomery County, like Baltimore, like we was all over the place. So, you know, it's really difficult to say like, yo, we rep the DMV for sure, but you know, where we got like where we was most stable at and got the most life lessons is Brooklyn. Yeah, it's home for us. And I always tell, like I had this argument with back in the day with my homeboy in the military. He had said, man, you from DMV. I'm like, bro, but check this out, bro. I said, look, I can make that argument, but at the same time,
if you put me anywhere in New York City, I don't give a fuck. No bus, no map, no nothing.
Facts.
Smack that. No matter what, I know how to get home.
Facts.
I know how to get to where I'm at. But you sit me anywhere in Maryland, I'm gonna need a GPS that John. Like I can't. I don't know where the fuck to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's completely different.
Yeah, it's facts.
Yep.
So yeah, that's just what it is.
That makes sense.
I'm from the military, so I already know how that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know how that should go.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So who's your influences coming up?
Ooh,
as far as music?
A lot, man. Damn,
there's a lot. It's
a lot of influences. I'm really studious to the game. I have a lot of influences from Big L to Biggie to Pac to Eminem to Busta to LL to Rakim, Eric B, freaking I mean,
KRS
even over the KRS, even Smooth the Hustler and Trigger the Gambler. They was a big influence on me, man. You know what I'm saying? I even
you know who I don't hear enough about, bro, but had a big influence is Redman, bro.
Yeah, Redman. Yeah, Redman.
like his There's a Dark Side album was legendary. I could put that album on at any time and recite that word for word from start to finish.
Yeah,
like that There's a Dark Side album was like the bob your head to this is like crazy work. Like that's what I mean. Like it's just there's so many different influences that is like I can venture outside of New York and say Outkast, Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? T.I. Busta had an influence. Like
I like Jeezy too.
Jeezy
got me through a whole deployment.
Yeah, he was like that too. So it's like it's just very. There's so many, man. We're just students of the game and love it. So it's a little bit different when you ask a question like that. We can't narrow that into one aspect of it because we've been students to everybody who put pen to pad.
Yeah,
you know why I think that's really dope? It's because you guys are from New York, and they always say that the artists from New York only have a bias to artists from New York.
Yeah.
And they don't give New York artists the credit enough for going outside of their region and being able to pick up inspiration from other artists and being able to use that into their own catalog.
Yeah, I mean,
that just leaves credits to the fact that you have, New York is a melting pot within itself. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the most traveled to places in the world. So when you say like we get a little hint of everything, so we pay. So it's kind of like being in a position to be able to see everything, and you like what you like in regards to having that bigger picture. So absolutely.
Yeah,
but the one thing that we will always, I guess, New York will always take credits is and put the most emphasis on are the lyricists. So they always get the lyricists will forever get the most respect. Period. That's why battle rap blossomed into what it is now, and a lot of lyrical rap came from that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree. So I'm glad that y'all mentioned that because that was going to be one of my questions as well. Because listening to your album, I noticed how much lyricism was at the forefront. I could tell that y'all were, doing different flows, and you were making sure that you were rhyming in different pockets and like unique pockets that I haven't heard other people rhyme in before. And I was like, oh no, that still fits within the flow though. Like that's just different. Like so.
Yeah.
How did y'all, or not how did y'all, but how important is it for y'all, especially as New York MCs and Brooklyn MCs, to, maintain that lyricism and have that be at the forefront of your songwriting?
I would say pride. Pride is to call yourself a lyricist, you got to really take heed to that. You got to really stand on that, right? So being from New York, you're going to be critiqued heavily. Like people are going to be paying attention to the syllables, the words, how you say it, what you say. Did you put a metaphor in there? Is there a simile in there? Is it a double entendre? Oh, that might be a triple entendre. Like they're going to be paying attention to everything you say word for word. And especially in New York City, where everybody kind of starts talking that gang shit or drug shit or, hoe shit, whatever. But once you venture out of that pocket, you really got to be creative in that. And that's what me and Twin really focus on. We focus on trying to be creatively different, but still deliver the same impactful lines every time. And the biggest I guess the way to answer your question is also competition. I compete with Twin every record. I try to kill him on every track every time. I want to say the dopest shit. I want to have the most memorable lines. I want people to recite my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey,
we compete with each other all the time. So that's definitely a focus on that.
hey, good luck.
I'm gonna try every time.
You ain't dog walking me on shit. I promise you.
Try.
You ain't dog walking me on shit. But
I'm gonna try every time.
But that's the competition aspect of it in regards to lyricists, because when you put pen versus pen, it's like, yo, who's gonna say something that's gonna have your verse remembered forever? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those impactful lines that we emphasize on, especially with this latest album, because it was very emotionally driven. So everything that we try to say, we try to make sure that it was like something that's gonna directly make people be like, oh, nah, I felt that, or like, yo, I can relate to that, or I understand where he's coming from with that. You know what I'm saying? And then give those nuggets of jewels of knowledge that, that people can take and live on. Like, we're our records that we play and that we write, it's not meant to be like played one time and then you completely understand everything that was going on in that song. It's meant to be studied and critiqued and picked apart. That's the whole entire point of the entire section. Like, so to ask you a question, what was your favorite song on our latest album?
So I would say off the first listen, I really liked the first two songs. Caught me. They caught my ear immediately. Again, because first of all, I love y'all's beat choices. Because it's more traditional. And again, that's what I grew up listening to. You know what I mean? I grew up listening to Mobb Deep and Nas and Biggie and Big L and people like that. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate people who still pick those type of beats. And then again, the way that you guys were attacking the beats and flowing and, the multi-syllabic rhyming was all there. You know what I'm saying? So like every element of being an MC was there immediately in the first two songs. It was like y'all were just immediately showing what y'all are capable of doing. So I appreciate shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate that, bro. You know what's crazy? Like literally every single album that we put out, we do that on purpose within the first couple of songs.
Okay.
Like we literally do that on purpose on the first couple of songs, because how we think about it is we know that this day and age, in regards to how people consume music, is a little bit different. And if somebody's like, oh, I want to give these guys a try and listen to the first time, I want to see what they're capable of in the very beginning. And it's like, no, we're gonna give you something that's gonna catch your ear immediately and make you be like, oh wait, I want to hear what else they have in store.
That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how I felt, because that's what happened. You know what I mean? As soon as I listened to it, I was like, okay, good. Like, this is something I'm going to enjoy listening to. This isn't going to be one of them interviews where it's like, all right, I got to listen to these niggas' album. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't one of those. It was more like I listen to some good music and then talk about it. So it was like, that is what the feeling it gave me. Another thing I noticed though was, y'all are very spiritual. You know what I mean? So how important is it for you guys to focus on that? Interestingly enough, I did a trip to heaven, and it was very important for him spiritual belief. So how do y'all feel about that?
Oh, man. So if you've been paying attention or got a little bit more studious with it, like I told you, we're layered artists. Everything is geared towards putting God first in the first place, and it's funny, our track titles, but also our album names. So they go in order, and it's telling a story, and it's also relaying a message to and it starts with first things first, and it keeps on going. If you read it from line by line by line, they're just the track titles. So people look
actually that thought process as well. So since you're there, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go ahead and speak about that, what was the thought process as far as naming the track titles in a sequential order to where if you read them all, you're reading, essentially a paragraph, you're reading a story.
Yeah.
Right.
So that part of it definitely came from Twin, because that kind of goes back to our first while we started back like taking it seriously in 2019. We've been writing lyrics since we were 9 years old. So writing and coming up with tracks and coming with dope concepts, we've been doing that since we were 9. So but we weren't taking it seriously, especially life circumstances, military, families, all that stuff, whatever. In 2019, Twin had to come up with a creative idea to make me really jump in the arena again, and take this seriously and really put our art out there. And I told him he has to blow me away with the concepts. And he came up with the dopest idea to convince me to jump back in the ring, which was coming up with every track that we release, every album that we release is going to tell a sequential story in order, from the moment we release to the time we decide to stop. And I said, all right, cool. I'll give you 100 records and we can tell a story within it. And that's where it leads us to now. With our first album in Order of Precedence. Next one, Everything Changed. When She Came, She Made Heaven Fall, and Froze Summer. It's funny how life is. Like, that's just the album names in order, So, and that's album and project names in order. Yeah. And you can only imagine if the album names telling a story like that, you can only imagine the track list. From here to, I think we're about damn near halfway through the motion now at this point, but yeah.
So, but you it's funny because Twin said the best, but he was just like, yo, what's the point of me rapping? Like, I got to make good money now. You make good money now. Like, starting from scratch, trying to figure out and claw our way up from the bottom instead of third. Yeah, we nice. Yeah, we got all these records, blah blah blah. But I'm not trying to do this unless we're doing something that's never been done before. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I just give me, let me put my creative juices in regards to thinking about that. And I was like, say less. So I stayed up over one night and was like, I think Nas was dropping an album close to that time frame. And I remember he dropped his track titles. And I remember looking at it and it was like, okay, what am I looking at this for? I'm looking at it for how long it is, who's featured on it. And that was pretty much, and just paying attention to the cover art. That was pretty much it, to try to understand the theme of what creative process he was in regards to what this album could possibly sound like. And I was like, how can I add a different element to that? And, I was just like, I looked at the track titles and was like, I got an idea. And because we're in a unique situation where we didn't put anything out publicly at that time, so I was like, why don't we just formulate everything to be told in order as we go? So we're telling a living story that our words will eventually outlive us. So the what's never been said before that I'll say now is the title of the story in its holistic, from what I envision it to be, is May Our Words Outlive Us. So that was the thought process in regards to that. And I was like, well, say less. Well, if we can not only showcase our lyricism, let's showcase our art form too, so that when people look at it, they can also get a message out of it. Because people ask that question all the time. Well, I listened to this song. What the fuck did it give me besides something to dance to? Or, a dope ass line that I remember. What did I get out of it? And we're giving lessons in the track titles. So I just wanted to make sure that we did that, which was just to dive deeper into the art of who we are as artists. You know what I'm saying? Everything is meticulously done. Everything.
I got one last question, and I'm gonna let Eric jump in because he's got some questions, specifically geared towards the album. Mm-hmm. But being twins, right? So I know there have been, brothers who have, been in groups before. I don't really remember any twins that have ever done it before. You know what I mean? So how does that feel being possibly, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the first big twin groups, you know what I mean? Because again, I saw the Instagram numbers. Y'all are out there. Like, people know who y'all are. You know what I mean? You mentioned battle rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of battle rap as well. I noticed K-Shot follows y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out.
K-Shot, that's my guy.
K-Shot, shout out.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, that's fire. So like, how does that feel knowing that y'all could possibly make history being twins in a group?
Man, dope, man. I bring on the challenge and I bring on the idea. I love the idea that we could be the first to do that, the first to do the albums and the track list in sequential order, the first to be actually real twins, not the yin yang twins, but real actual twins. Doing this and I love to compete, man. I've been competing with twins this whole time, so I would love the world to see our level of competition within each other and just bring it and just having fun while we doing it. Not no animosity, not no envy, not no jealousy, not nothing. I just genuinely enjoy the competitive nature of this sport, and I just love going to war with this guy, you know what I'm saying, to the right of me all the time. And I mean, I love going to war with him every track, every album, every show. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy it, man. I think it's dope, and I hope the world see it too.
Yeah, facts. And it's just another thing to be able to take it's the joy of brotherhood that we get to showcase to the world too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have if you've been on the website, there's a song called With My Better Half. You know what I'm saying? Like, that song, you know what I'm saying? We can't put it out publicly because of the sample. We couldn't get it cleared, but whatever. But that song showcases, like, you know, a lot of our brotherhood, and we went back and forth on 2 verses on that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that we grew up and learned how to write going back and forth all the time.
Bar for bar. Like, that's why when it's like breaking down a verse is not a problem. Like, most people don't even realize, like, when we get booked for features and stuff like that, most of the time, if they want to charge, we give them 2 prices. We give them our 2-verse price, and then we give them our regular verse price. And the regular verse price is just me and Twin going back and forth. Like, I think T-Witz saw that live in his studio because he was like, "Oh shit, I'm bringing the twins in, blah blah blah," and then, you know, he saw us record that verse flawlessly, like straight through, and he was like, "What the fuck?" Like, he was like one of those, like, blown away, like, damn, that chemistry can't be taught. You have to develop that with somebody over time. And, you know, to be able to punch in, do the syllables, you know, punch in, do the doubles, punch in and go back and forth without skipping and missing the beat. That type of chemistry, you know, it leads over well to listening to songs like that. You know, so when you hear Kings and Priests and stuff like that, you'll see me and Twin going back and forth, from where it's not like, you know how, like, for anybody who's ever recorded, he went back and forth, but the energy didn't change. And when he was up, I went up. And when he went down, I went down. Like, it was like back and forth and matching that energy. It's very hard to get that kind of chemistry. So yeah,
no cap.
Yeah.
No fedora. Hey.
No
this
fedora.
Shit fire, dog. I'm not gonna hold you. This shit fire.
That's what still gives you y'all's individuality within being twins, though, because, you know, that's something that twins have to deal with a lot, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah.
You know, is, you know, not necessarily being confused for one another, but people act like because y'all are twins, y'all are the same. And it's like, no, we're still different people. We're still individuals within this group, within this brotherhood, within this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's still, you know,
different, but still the same.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
I grew up with this saying,
when I hear y'all rap,
different story.
Right. And when I hear y'all rap, I can hear that. It's like, I can definitely hear that it's similar, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. Exactly.
And that's the duality that we normally ride with, because Twin are normally, you know, he favors the much more trap heavy rap style, like beats and stuff like that. Like, especially like this last album was very Twin driven, like but, you know, the one before that, you know, Afro Summer was much more my vibe, my speed and stuff like that. So it's much more hip hop, and like we kind of bounce between that duality that we like. So I might be much more on the hip hop side, Twin be much more on the rap side, and then we kind of like blend those two together. It's been dope. So you get a different vibe. No matter you never know what the next album is gonna sound like because of how we do that.
That's fire.
Word.
Because people get bored, man. You might catch on to an artist and be like, yo, I really fuck with them, woo woo, or I really fuck with this artist. But after a while, from one album to the second album, you're like, all right, I know what I'm gonna get for the third album.
I was gonna say also, like, if you're constantly delivering variety, then you don't pigeonhole yourself into one thing where it's like, no, we will only want to hear this from these niggas. You know what I'm saying? This is what they're good at. This is what we want to hear from them. You know what I'm saying? If you're constantly, if you come out the gate showing, yo, I can do everything, then we're gonna always know that we can get anything from you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be trained to be able to accept that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I think the biggest thing for me is I have so many we have so many concepts and ideas in our minds all the time, and it's like I don't want to just create one thing, because once I get bored, my passion leaves. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to do that shit. You know what I mean? So I always like to challenge myself to, do different things, try different stuff. I mean, I can't sing for shit, but but you know what I'm saying? My engineer, I'm like, hey bro, I'm trying to do something. Let's make this sound right. Like we experimented on the last tape.
Right up.
You know what I'm saying? Like we experimented on this last tape, and it actually, for my wife, she absolutely loved the both records that me and Twin ended up doing. Twin ended up like harmonizing on You'll Find Love, and then I did something on the track right after that. So we kind of did something different. Like, I like to challenge myself at least to try to do something different. If it come out trash, I always get critiqued 100,000% before I put it out. So if it come out trash, we just won't come out with it. But 99% of the time, if they be like, yo, man, that's fire, like, do that or try it again or whatever. I'm like, hey, we'll do it, try it, experiment with it, and just have fun at the end of the day. Like, that's what we try to do.
The unique experience is the fact that we hold each other accountable all the time. We're quick to say, yeah, that's not it, dog. Like, because you know how many people be like, many solo artists might have a whole bunch of yes men around them, this, that, and the third. Not us, because I'm gonna look at
you can't be a yes man.
Yeah,
you can't be yes men to each other. If I don't like a bar, I'm like, bro, that bar was trash. Nah, hell nah. Like we are real harsh critiques, bro. We do it with each other. I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta come with it.
I have thrown away more rhymes than I've retained, for sure.
Facts.
I think that, matter of fact, one of our biggest records, Then She Came, I wrote 2 verses for that.
Yeah, he did.
Before the one that actually came out, that song took off. But before that actually record went out, there's 2 rough draft copies that'll never be heard.
Because I ain't gonna front. Because look, we went to the studio, we laid it down, and I was just like, I'm in the car, I'm bumping. I'm like, yo, this shit got potential, but I'm like, nah, there's something off. I'm listening to his verse, I'm like, nah, bro. I called him immediately. Hey, bro. I was like, hey, bro, you got to come harder than that. That ain't it, bro. That ain't it. And he was like, and it's like no hard feelings between us, because he'll do the same. He did the same thing to me a couple times. So if we feel as though you didn't match that energy or you didn't deliver as much as your best, I want your best every time. So for him, on that verse, he came with it, and I was like, "Oh, that's fire!" And when he came back, I was like, "That's fire!" Like he snapped on that verse, man. Especially that Megan Stallion bar. That shit was fire.
Yeah, it was different. And she responded to that shit too.
She did. Yeah, she did respond.
She responded to that shit too.
I was rolling. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Hey, Megan Thee Stallion came out like a month later and on a random freestyle. It was like, "Yes, thick girls can take dick." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, it's facts. That's
okay, Megan, I hear you. Good shit.
Yeah, facts.
I always respect penmanship. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't dissing her. It was just like a play on like a name flip. It was what you call it in battle rap.
Yeah.
It's just a name flip. So she took that and actually put the pen back. I was like, I respect that.
Yeah, it was dope.
E?
Yeah, that's a fact.
What you got for me?
Oh shit, man. All right.
I was gonna say I don't even know where to start, but no, I know a perfect place to start because we had a great conversation before this shit even started, and we had a great conversation about how you guys structured your names, like upon one being lowercase and upon one being capitalized. So break that down a little bit for the people who don't know why you
Okay.
guys decided to do it like that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. One is because we actually are twins, and being twins, we wanted to make sure we incorporate that in our name. But that in itself has challenges because there's a lot of twins out there that are rappers or whatever, whatnot, but they all put twins or spell it a specific way, and every variation was kind of taken in a way. And we wanted to make sure we differentiate ourselves from the group, from the bunch. And one way to do that was spelling it that way. So we spelled it to win, like so, literally spells to win. Um, and we put the two I, the lowercase i's in there is for the people that don't know that those are two i's. So sometimes we'll do the two i's lowercase because people don't realize that it's two i's, and some people mistake it to be two l's when we capitalize it. So that's what it represents, but it's supposed to be represented with two capital i's to represent two pillars. And that's what we stand on, the two pillars. I mean, that's the best way I could break it down. Originally, we were the Kings County Twins, but I can't. I told Twin, I said, Twin, man, most successful artists don't have 3-syllable names, man. So we got to break this down a little bit better. And I came up with the concept to just say Twin Kings. So we just made sure we spelled it that way.
Yeah, and I was the one that came up with the two eyes because I was like, there's only one eye in twin, but there's two of us. You know what I'm saying? So we looked at it in an aspect of saying like, it's gonna take two of us to win. You know what I mean? Like, and that just doesn't have to mean just twin. You know what I'm saying? It could mean like two anybody can win. You know what I'm saying? It just it's always more than one. It always takes more than one to win because people might look at Simone Biles and be like, oh yeah, she's the only one on the gym mat, or Javante Davis in the ring, but they forget that he has a fucking team and she has a fucking team that that helped train them to be able to be at the pinnacle and at the forefront of their selective sports. You know what I'm saying? With us being in the military, not only in the military, but also being like in the hip hop industry in regards to like this sport, like it's going to take more than one of us to win. You know what I'm saying, and we wanted so we just wanted to like to encompass everybody around us to say like, yo, it's going to take more than one to win. So that's why we said win.
I think one thing for me that like my brother pointed out like multiple times throughout this conversation that I personally loved whenever I heard y'all's album was how much it seemed like you guys bounced ideas off of each other. And even throughout this conversation, like in you guys explaining how you guys even create the concepts of your albums, even from the start to the one that we just heard. Like, I love how it feels like it's an authentic story all the way throughout. The thing that I noticed on this album in particular was that it felt like it was broken up into like 3 different parts. It felt like the very first part of the album was like it almost felt like a reintroduction. Like that's how it felt when I first heard it, because I felt like I was being introduced to y'all for the first time when I heard it. But through you guys explaining like the concept, the ones that I need to go back and listen to, this feels like a reintroduction into, oh, this is who we are. And we're going to let you know. Those were the ones that, like, it was like, we're punching right in and we're going to let you know. But the other parts, the second part to me was the part who you guys are growing up, but also like a little bit of shit for the ladies. Like that was the shit that everybody know. Oh, if you thought we all these other niggas was good at, that's what I got from it. So, how exactly did you guys figure out how to break it up into those three parts when you came up with the project? Like, when
I told Twin I wanted it to be a storied arc, like one of these, and you know, it was meant to be like, you know, to showcase every emotion in the you know, what it feels like to be human, what it feels like to be in this world in itself. You know, every emotion, fear, regret, trauma, heartbreak, you know, celebrity, you know, loneliness, everything. We wanted to basically showcase all of it. And, you know, in order to bring that through in the most musically way possible, we decided to say, like, you know what, in the beginning, we're going to showcase, you know, anxiety, fear, frustration right out the gate. This is what, so when you hear first things first, it's like, okay, well, we're in the rap game. We're letting you know that right now. Like, and this is everything we don't fucking like about it. And this is who the fuck we are while we're doing it. We ain't sugarcoating shit, nor hiding shit from anybody. And then, you know, we kind of led into that. And it was like, okay, and some of the trials and tribulations that we got into in regards to being frustrated and then the fear aspect of it. Like, a lot of artists that hear our shit don't want us on the record with them. Like, they're like really petrified at the idea of us being on a song. So instead of putting us on a song, they would then in turn just, you know, steal a concept that they got from us and then try to formulate it into their own shit when they could have just picked up a phone and said, yo, I want to work with y'all. So, you know, we kind of showcased that. Then we led into, like, you know, something that everybody deals with, which was the second half of it. Like, you know, meeting a girl, courting a girl, to having sex with the girl and stuff like that, and then having a relationship and you going through an argument of acting like, you know, what did you bring to the table in the first place? Like, I'm here dealing with, you know, I'm doing all of this, and what are you doing for me? Blah, blah, blah. And then going to the breakup, you know what I'm saying, and dealing with the breakup, stuff like that. Then after the breakup was, you know, how you feel. All right, I'm motivated to go to the gym. I did to be great. I did to do all of these different things. And then it was like, okay, now that I'm great and I'm a celebrity, I don't really like this shit. And then it kind of curtails into that so the whole thing is like an arc like this. So if you listen to it, it goes in order. It's just an arc, which is great because it leads all the way to the very last song, which was a double-sided story that Twin led on with. You know what I'm saying? Of
Selfish,
speaking about how people are just inherently selfish.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Which
saying?
tells
Like,
it, yeah, that story is pretty deep. I had my bad, Twin. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, he I think that was a beautiful explanation. It ends off with selfish because inherently people are inherently selfish in some way, shape, or form. They're gonna want something out of something. So I wanted to showcase that, especially in this day and age, in this modern time. I try to modernize what it means to be selfish, and what it sounds like, and what it feels like, and then tell it from a point of view where you can understand it. Where I break it down to a science, and then Twin takes that same concept and then tells a story behind it, and showing you how everybody became selfish for their own success. So that's ultimately what it came down to. But yeah, Twin broke it down perfectly. It's definitely a arc where you can get a lot of different emotions, and we wanted to captivate all the emotions in an album to show you how funny life is. That's why every break in the album you get a skit, a little funny skit that kind of, you know, leads you into the next segment of the album. So that's kind of how we broke it up. And it did take a little bit of time for us to sit down, listen to it sonically, go back to the studio, remix some things, you know. Yeah, I mean, it was a process in itself.
Chorus here and there.
Yeah, fix the chorus for something, or we didn't like the way this sounded on this part, or this was too high.
That's what I was going to say too. Is I noticed y'all had interludes and skits.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The skits
that was how I figured out that it was a 3-part album in the first place. Because when I looked at the track list, like, I didn't look for like song length or anything like that. I just was like, oh, okay, cool, 15 minutes, 18 songs, press play. I just let it play from 1 to 18. And then when I found out, oh, there's skits in between this, And once I got to the second skit, that's pretty much how I figured out, they broke this album up like this on purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's kind of how I figured that out. Right. And for me personally, I would say I like the third part of the album because of the reasons that you guys said. Right. It's like this perfect duality of kind of figuring out where you're at in the current moment, but also figuring out that there's still other shit that still needs to be worked out in between that. Yeah. So that was one of the things that I loved about, like, it's like almost like a eureka moment, but it's like again, it's a duality of both. It's a eureka of, I figured this shit out, but I also got some other shit that I gotta work out in the process at the same time.
Word. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you finally get to the song where it's like you hear Richie Evans on the feature, like, you know, that song in itself was fire, but the entire concept of that song was just to remind people, like, no, it was an assurance. Like, the feeling of that song was assurance. Like, I got you. Like, no, I understand where you at. Like, I got you. I'm here with you. Like, nah, you don't gotta trip.
Like, what you tripping for?
Yeah, right. Like, exactly. So it's like, what you tripping for? Like, I got you.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is what I will say. This was another thing that I took note of. Once I got to that song, that's when I could tell that third part of the project was really picking up. Yep. And I will say that my favorite feature on your project is Richie Evans. This is kind of a two-part question. My first question is, what songs from this project would you like to see blow up the most? And then my second question is, who is your personal favorite feature on this project?
Great question.
And by the way, shout out to Dave O's Beats, because
Dave O's.
Dave, that's my guy.
That's my guy.
So to answer the whole album, but if I had a choice, it would probably, that song invoked the feeling and the feedback that I got from a lot of people that, you know, it brought emotions to the catalog that say, hey man, we don't really get to hear your personal stories too much, so you don't get to really dive too much of what you've been through. So that has an understanding what how that past shaped us now. Told me that song brought them to tears. I just love the fact that I'm able to invoke that kind of feeling. While still my favorite features definitely gonna have to be Richie Evans. He came, he delivered, man, and I respect that, man. He's fire.
Facts. Yeah, facts. I second that. If I had to just add a little bit of a twist to it, I would say the song that I would love to see people really understand will probably be "Selfish." That last song, man, you don't get the opportunity to be able to have a lyricist like myself, you know, put together in a 16, you know, a four-person story. You know what I'm saying? Where you give four characters in one story, and then you make that make sense in a 16. It didn't have to do that through a whole song to make it make sense. Like, I squeezed that into a 16, and it's like very, like, when you listen to that word for word, you like the end is almost like hits you like a surprise, like, oh shit, you know, when that happens. So, like, you know, just to showcase, because like a lot of people don't understand that we can storytell when we rap. You know what I'm saying? We don't really do it often. I think it's probably like been like what, 3 or 4 songs that we put out publicly that we did that, you know, and that was just the latest version of what we're capable of doing, you know, just within a 16. So, you know, and then my brother just absolutely murdered the chorus, and I was like, I told him to this day, I was like, bro, that's my favorite chorus I've ever heard you write, bro, and perform. So, you know, if I had to choose, it'd be that one. But I mean, obviously, the whole fucking album is fire because each song is its own project to us. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't think y'all storytell in the traditional sense. y'all definitely storytell. Just for one, in the titles of the albums, you know, in the titles of the songs, you're definitely storytelling. But even beyond that, like I noticed that you were talking about, you know, other dudes they might get on by trying to go the street route or whatever, scamming or drug dealing or whatever. I'm gonna go to 9 to 5 route. You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%, right.
so even when you say things like that, it's like that's still storytelling in a sense because you're telling your story.
Yeah,
you know and that's a very honest approach to rap. So you know what I mean. I just first of all I want to commend y'all for that because a lot of people don't. You know, they say they're honest in their raps, but it's all lean towards one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
That's refreshing to hear some honesty in the raps. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, everything that we do is honest. There's nothing that we've ever rapped about that's been, you know, dishonest. We pride ourselves on being authentic. So like when people see us and recognize us and stuff like that, they're like, "Yo, Twin, I heard this album. That shit was fire." This, that, the third. It's different when you have somebody like us who actually sit down, pen it, and it's us. So we can speak about us and what we do. So it's a little, and you know, and how we pin something because we're behind the scenes, like actually putting the pen to the pad and crafting these ideas. You know what I'm saying? And bringing these projects to life in the first place. So
now, before we let y'all go, you know what I'm saying? I do want to bring up y'all's website, first of all, because it's dope. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? The layout is cold. So we're going to bring this up. Now, what all is a fan of yours going to get from coming to your website?
Ooh, so let me speak on that. So if you scroll down, you can see who we are, which gives us a good clean bio. Then you can also see who we work with when you tap into the castle. But if you go to exclusive content, like so, for example, just from right there, that media bar, every song that's not, most of the songs that are not public, that we couldn't put out because of either sample clearing or couldn't clear the beat or whatever the case may be, we put a lot of our dope ass songs in that song bar. So like you'll hear music that's not out on every platform, that's only on our website.
Okay,
in that little sound bar.
So that's here exclusive content. If I go there,
that's on the website. So if you go to the first page, the homepage.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to all and you scroll down just a little bit, see that little bar right there. Yep, only available here. You can hit those. You can hit that, and you'll get like a whole bunch of songs that are not out publicly. You know, in regards to that. Then obviously, you can get every single album that we've ever put out right there in order. From bottom to top.
Okay, got you.
And stuff like that. And then when you go to exclusive content, this is gonna be the stuff that I wish that more people clicked on because we can see every user that's been on it. So when you go to exclusive content, you see that Trip Through Time mixtape. You can hear how we sounded since 2005 till now.
Wow.
So like our very first song that we put out, which was Boomerang. You'll see that with the date next to it. So like you'll see like some of our hottest songs from years all the way through time. So you know, Boomerang, which they played in our high schools and stuff like that from time to time, you can get all of that. And you can also see all the articles that they written about us in those tabs as well. I just tell people just explore the website, man. We got a lot of shit on there. A lot of shit. Like that's the tab that shows like a lot of articles and it gets a tab, so like you can click on it and then read what people have been writing about us. You know what I'm saying throughout the years. So you know, it's definitely something to enjoy. I'm actually gonna end up dropping on our website only, which is to be surprised. So we will put it out here on this podcast yet. The very first project that we ever did, it was supposed to be a 2-part project. So I'm gonna put part 1 on the project of that project. It's called Kiss, and that's gonna come out before the year's done. So that's a very boom bap, old school joint, but it's fire. Everybody who hears it is like freaking like yo in love with that project and that tape. And that tape, I think I penned that tape in like 2014. And we was gonna let it die, but you know, a couple people got a hold of my hard drive and was like, "Yo, what's this?" You know what I'm saying? They was like, "Yo,
that's the worst." When niggas get a hold of the hard drive, oh my god.
So
they be like, "Yo," when is this dropping?
Yeah, 100%. They're like, "Yo, when is this? And when is it coming out?" So because I got enough people, enough feedback in regards to like our core listening group. So shout out to anybody who wants to be in the core listening group. for projects and songs and stuff like that, definitely shoot us a DM and say that you're interested in being in that email chain. Because we send out emails in regards to songs that we're like 50-50 or iffy with and stuff like that, and we want to get like some raw feedback in regards to that. Shout out to us. If you want to be a part of that, just let us know. But
also, we started a podcast with the Fort. We solidify ourselves as a castle. Because we kings, we gonna solidify the castle. So we represent the Fort. The Fort, we have a podcast. It's on our YouTube channel. We doing episode by episode. And then people can kind of get more encompassed in who we are and how we think and what we like to do. We tackle a lot of different concepts, topics, and all that stuff. So we just try to put out as much content as we can to kind of feed the machine.
Yeah, facts. So that project's probably gonna come out towards the end of the year and stuff like that. So
definitely my favorite. Definitely one of my favorites for sure. You've been sitting on that for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, drop that shit ASAP. I'm actually in the process of recording. I'm actually in the process of recording part 2 to that. Because I have majority of it written. I just haven't recorded it yet because we haven't really put our minds directly on that. We want to be focusing on the main projects and with our promised twin. So, but I'm still gonna do that off to the side and get that done too.
Yeah.
See, you be acting like you losing love for it, but you got
right.
You know,
he said I already got one to the side and shit.
Whole last side
playing out in my head already.
But he had to be convincing. Nah, you love hip hop, nigga. You
that's a fact. That nigga ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even worried about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need no convincing. You know?
I love this, man. Yeah, I do love this.
We appreciate y'all for coming through, man. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check out twinkings.com. 2winkings with a Z.com. For everything. I'm sure the show dates are up there, merch, everything is there. You know what I'm saying? Definitely check out those articles. You know what I'm saying? Once again, fellas, definitely appreciate y'all's time. Thank y'all for stopping by the bar exam right here on Ethos Media Network. And y'all got any last words for the people before we get up out
I just want to say my favorite bar that I've written up to this date was on the Afro Summer Project. Because I know y'all be doing bar breakdowns, so
what was the bar?
I gotta leave some. I didn't get a chance to hear that yet.
He said, a boss bitch with ego for sale. Leave your paperwork at work. Learn to address your mail. That's a bar.
That's a bar.
That's a bar. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Battle rap ass bar. God damn.
Yeah, that's a bar. What I would like to end off with is, man, salute to you, salute to y'all. Thank you for everybody that supports us. We support you as well. Thank you so much. Definitely check out the website, check out our Instagram, hit us up, man. We love to hear feedback. We like all type of feedback, negative feedback and the positive feedback. So salute to the castle, you heard? It's the Fort. Twin Kings, you heard?
Twin Kings, y'all clap it up. You know what I'm saying? Clap it up. You feel me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the Bar Exam. This is the Ethos Media Network. Till next time. Peace.